guys, welcome to Bring Back the Girls, or welcome. I'm so happy to have you here. So for this video, I had the honor of interviewing the legendary Kevin Barron. For those of you who don't know who Kevin Barron is, let me tell you some fun facts about him. Kevin is the OG of the OGs when it comes to World Cup. He was at World Cup from Supernovas to Twinkles to Starlights and Odyssey. So he born and raised at World Cup, and then for 2 years he went off to Top Gun, where he won 2 world champion titles on TGLC and what is now known as Double O. So he is one of the most incredible cheerleaders that All Star Cheerleading has had. He is the first athlete to ever compete a toe double, which is insane. So we had so much fun catching up in this video. Kevin actually coached me on Twinkles Chasing Perfection, so it was just fun. We talked about some stories, and Kevin just gives us an insight on what it was like to be a part of the gym during the Shooting Stars three-peat, that iconic period. I really hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you at the end. All right, well, welcome back, everyone. We have our next guest, Kevin Barron.
Hey.
The first question that I ask everyone is how you got into cheerleading and like your cheerleading career and journey.
So I was a gymnast until like 5th grade, and then my coach ended up leaving. So we were like shopping around other gymnastics gyms, and I ended up going to a birthday party, Shields Twisters. It was like a gymnastics birthday party, and they had a team there, and they roped me in that day when I was flipping around. Yeah, that was like the original Jersey Shore All Stars.
And
yeah,
then you moved to World Cup right after that?
Yeah, I was there for like a few months. I was right at World Cup, like first year on Supernovas, and then Twinkles and Supernovas, and then Starlights, and then Odyssey.
You were on Starlights when they won Worlds?
No, I was before Worlds.
Before Worlds.
06, 04, 05, and 05, 06. And then they won in 07.
Okay.
Yeah, I was on the team for like a practice, and then I got the boot. They went all girl.
No. And
yeah,
then
I think I was basing Tone for the 1 or 2 practices I was there, and then
she
then
was a flyer. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I remember being like
she was little.
Yeah.
Yeah, she must have been in like 4th grade.
So then after Odyssey, you went to Top Gun, correct?
Yep.
And what years were you on Top Gun for?
2010 I was on co-ed, and then 2011 I was on like what is now Double O.
Which one did you prefer, World Cup or Top Gun? Because there's totally 2 separate gyms, you know?
Yeah, and I mean, I like grew up at World Cup, so it was a nice change of pace to go somewhere new. But I only for the 2 years, and then I was back to New Jersey.
And you coached at World Cup. He wants to be in the podcast. He wants spotlight.
Hey.
I understand.
My first year back was Chasing Perfection.
Mm-hmm. And you know what, Kevin? I was very upset. I remember watching the Twinkles preview video, and you were not even in it. I was like, "Where's Kevin?"
I wasn't Mike. Well, so that was the year. It was my first year back. I coached like 5 teams. Could you imagine me mic'd at 18 years old?
But you were like a big part of the team. You made so many like great changes with the choreography, like
oh my god, right? Old school.
You know what I mean? Like you added so much to that team. When I watched the full documentary, and I could see you in like back clips. I was like, Kevin did so much more than that.
Babies. We look like babies.
I know. I'm always like scared to go back and watch that because I'm like, oh no.
It aged better than I thought it would.
Dana cursing out on
like that's how you know we're from Jersey. Like we don't just right on the camera.
Yeah, Twinkles Chasing Perfection. That was a time.
What a time to be alive.
So you were a part of the gym, like you said, during the Shooting Stars three-peat, 2007, 2008, and 2009. And there was so much talent, like we said, like Tony Franchevsky, Kelsey Ripple, you were there.
Baytar.
Yeah. Big Red, all the big names at the gym during that time. Like you were a part of that. So tell me what it was like to be at the gym during that time.
Oh my god. I mean, it feels like 7,000 years ago. But I mean, it was wild. Like we were all just like loved cheerleading. Like we would go to the gym on like Friday nights and tumble. Like in high school, like I was like probably a sophomore. Yeah, even like into my senior year. Like me, Baytar, like the whole like all like Matt. Like we just like loved the cheer. So that's what like it made it so easy to be good. Like we were, oh, it was like our whole life.
Yeah, and like Odyssey and Stars, they like were really close from what I remember. Like
Yeah,
Odyssey and Stars were just kind of like in New Jersey. Like I remember like when I was at Hamilton Stars, like iconic. Like if you
yeah.
made those teams,
Yeah,
you
I
made
mean, there was nobody else. Like Spirit Explosion, South Jersey Storm had like the co-ed, like that open team.
it. Fab Five, or is that?
No, they weren't for a while. That was like, I
Yeah,
guess when you were on like Starlight.
fun though that like you guys just like went to open gyms,
Right.
hung out, and don't see a lot of that nowadays. So I don't think so.
No, these, yeah, I don't know
Yeah.
what the children do.
I think nowadays too, a lot of people aren't like I was an hour away from World Cup, so I would go to like rock stars all the time. Like Nicolette drove 3 hours. So it was
Yeah,
like hard to,
wild.
yeah, like get to the gym and just hang out all the time. When you were at the gym, I remember this was before I came to World Cup, but you had lots of opportunities at World Cup with the Capezio dance. So what
Oh
was your
yeah,
you can explain all of that and go into it because I only know a little.
yeah. This woman, Anne Marie D'Angelo, she like set up kind of like a. They would do a gala afterwards. It was like a dinner and like an auction, and the show before was just like a celebration of dance. People from like Juilliard, ABT, like they'd have these like crazy like hip hop people. And then I don't know how we got it. They did that like that one, the Hey Mickey thing
Yeah.
that one year, and it like just turned into like we ended up keep going back for like 4 years, and then I did it another like 5 years after it. And we literally would just come on the stage like in the middle of like the opening number or the closing number and like do a basket or like I would like tumble across. And the one year we like learned the '07 like dance and did that. Yeah, like that was the one that Parky did too, and like Joey Mastrocola. We like did the dance on this is very strange.
That
It
is
was really
cool.
cool.
So yeah, I remember my seeing the Hey Mickey.
That was '06 because that was the last year of that star cutout uniform.
Oh my
And
God.
then '07 must have been the year that I did it.
Well, and they stopped doing that. Do we know why?
I think she ended up moving it to like a different time of the year, and it was like around competition time, maybe.
Shooting Stars did the Glee kind of like premiere thing. Do you remember
Yeah,
that?
yeah. I mean, I guess we were being so close to the city. It was like so, and we were the biggest thing around here, like cheerleading wise. So anything was coming through us,
I wish I went to the Glee premiere, but I think I was like,
right? Well, those people didn't, they didn't age well.
no, no, not at all. Still iconic though. You know, during your time in cheer and probably a little bit after is when like social media, I think, started to get a grasp of cheer a little bit more. And we saw the rise of cheerlebrities. So like
Yeah. So that was like right as I was done. Like I graduated in 2010, and that was like the beginning of like Kelsey Rule, Maddie Gardner, like Kiara Nolan. Like that was like I got out just in time.
how do you think cheerlebrities have like impacted, especially the older ones? Do you think it helped the cheerleading industry?
I mean, I don't know. I feel bad for those kids. Like that stuff that Gianna used to get, like on social media, that's wild. No part of that is healthy or going to contribute to any good behavior. But yeah, I don't love it. We don't have them anymore. That World Cup, like our kids are pretty chill. Like
Kennedy Rhodes had I felt like she had a big impact like on stars.
we got there's a few shooting stars, but we don't have like like how it used to be.
Well, I think cheerlebrities I mean, I looked up to them, like Tony, Kelsey. When I was in the gym, I was like, I want to be them. Kira Nolan, I was like, how do I get to that level
Right.
as a younger cheerleader? So I guess in my mind, like looking back, I was like, they inspired me to like get better in order to become
Yeah.
cheerleaders like them. But then I see the other side that you're saying, where it's like the amount of pressure to like upholding your name, like
Right.
Kelsey Rule, oh my God. I remember,
Yeah, she got ripped to shreds.
yeah, she would fall on a pass and immediately Twitter cheer updates was brutal. But I think it affects a lot of athletes. Gabby Butler. I remember her on Smellwood when she almost fell. Like that was insane.
Right.
She was shaking coming off the floor. I remember watching that video.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine.
No, I can't. I mean, I had it on a small scale. I remember when I got like bigger in the air, and I would see like random tweets. They're like, "Oh, Lauren got big."
As you're like 90 pounds, like
I'm going through puberty. Leave me alone. Yeah, and
wild.
they are just unhinged. So I think you're right that cheerlebrities, it's dangerous.
Like the last ones I knew were like the Rosarios and Courtney's kids, and they're all done now. So Lainey Madsen, I think she competed last year. She like that's the end of my people I know. But I think there still are, but I think they're more who's big on like social media,
Yeah, not
not
like
so much who's like the best cheerleader.
I was just about to say, I was like, yeah, the way that you back then made your name is like when you're throwing like double doubles or like team and stuff like that, or Maddie Gardner's ball up 360.
Right.
Maddie Gardner was not posting TikToks at that time. She was actually doing like skills and to get her. I'm like throwing people under the bus right now.
Right.
That's how they got their name. But yeah, cheerlebrities, it's kind of like there's good sides to it because I really think it gives people to look up to and someone to like aspire to be within the cheerleading world because that's what
Yeah.
Chelsea did for me when I was at World Cup. And I'm sure Kennedy did that for some girls too, like on Twinkle.
Yeah. All the little girls love Kennedy.
Yeah, like watching her fly, like they probably are like, I want to be like Kennedy one day. So it's
Right.
like I think they help in that way, but at the same time, I think they're very like having that kind of expectation and platform is a lot for
Yeah, especially when like they're teenage girls that I'm pretty sure don't know how to manage their own emotions yet, let alone like commentary from thousands of strangers on the internet.
I mean, if you want to go into this question, we kind of already touched on it a bit, but like your time at Top Gun.
Oh yeah. I
Uh,
mean, it was like, listen, it was a real wake up call for sure. I mean, that was like a lot of structure, a lot of conditioning
oh,
that I did
the
not do at
gym had
World
no
Cup.
air conditioning that you were at because they changed gyms.
I don't think the new one does either.
No, it
I don't
doesn't.
think
No,
it
I
does
was
because
there.
I went for the like grand opening. They had like an anniversary thing, like whatever, their 25th or something, 20th anniversary. And it was like when they first got the new one, and it's huge, and there's like more circulation than there was. Like the other one was just a straight box. This
Mhm.
one I think has like more doors you could open, but I don't think it's actually air conditioned.
I don't think it is either. I
I don't
don't.
think that yet. I think that would be a pretty penny in Miami. I mean, I'm glad I did it. I don't. That was the best shape I've ever been in my life. I go, wow. Now I'm like, I get winded like walking my dog for 20 minutes.
How was it competing like at World Cup, like and like Top Gun crowds? Was there a difference? I know that's weird, but I always
Oh,
want
I mean, the Top Gun large Cohen crowd. There is nothing like that. I mean, we had a pretty good following on Odyssey. We were always like, in the mix. We were never going to win. We were always like in the mix. But yeah, that cheer sport. I don't remember like in the moment it actually happening, but like you said, like watching those videos, like that cheer sport video from I think it was 2010. It's like you see the whole like sea of people. Oh, shit was wild.
I can't even
I mean,
imagine.
it's still like that. Like these kids still do that for the Top Gun teams.
I've seen videos of that too. The only difference is you just see a lot of phones up now.
Wild. I mean, I guess we didn't really record. Our phones were shitty quality. You had to have like a real camera to record a team.
People are just screaming their heads off, like just
Right.
looking up and down, like crazy people. That's what I did for Brandon Senior Black. Like I don't screaming. Competing back then must have been insane because there was no phone.
Yeah. The
Oh,
milk house, like that shit was wild.
people could line the floor.
Hmm.
So how was that? Like having people just like
When I was on co-ed, we were the first division. Like I think my awards were at like 9:30 in the morning. So it wasn't like that for us. But I remember on Odyssey it was like that. I feel like am I gonna land on these people? Like
yeah, and they got
definitely
what year did people like have to go?
must have been like 11, 12. Like once they started doing that Jostin Center,
Mm.
That's when it starts like spread out more, so they could be more like strict with like where, how many people they could let in or whatever.
Yeah, Disney was like, wait a second, what's going
Yeah,
on in the
I
hotel?
have a picture. I think it was from like when Lady Bullets won the first year, and like they drew like a box with tape like on the floor, and I'm like laying in the box because it was all full, and we had to like, I was the only one I could fit in.
During your time when you were cheering, you were still able to do like double doubles and full doubles, all that fun
Oh,
stuff,
it's all the things.
all the things you were able to do. What was it like competing those skills? And then also, do you think the rule changes of like simplifying tumbling a little bit more were necessary in the sport?
Yeah. I mean, first of all, I didn't have to stunt at all. Like I competed. The hardest stunt I ever competed was a full up 2 feet, a fake one on Odyssey, and then we took the switch ups out on Top Gun. So I did. All the other boys did a toss extension, and I just stood there, and my side spot tossed it for me. So, and then on I-5, I did a real full up. But like, so it was way easier. I feel like that in that sense, and also like these kids don't have like gymnastics based coaches to be doing it. So like combine that with all of the extra shit they have to do and stunting and all that, like it's definitely not safe. And I mean, yeah, the double doubles were cool, but like, is it that cool that it's worth like teenage girls ruining their bodies for the rest of their lives? Like, I don't think it's that cool. I remember the big uproar, like all the people freaking out about it. In the grand scheme of it, it was like what, 2% of people doing it anyway.
Yeah, I
And if
can.
half of them are getting hurt, it's not worth it.
Yeah, lots of ACL injuries. I remember when I was out.
Yep. I was on either Starlights or Supernovas. It was like 6.
I mean, I was talking to Kat Perry about this, but like level progressions were not as big as they were.
Yeah, it wasn't really a thing.
You would like throw a full and literally, or I would be working a full and a double together, like before. Kids still do that, or do you have to get a full and then?
I mean, yeah, well, most of them pretty much go based on level. They do like, 1 or 2 years on one and two, that, with exceptions, obviously, but,
Yeah,
you're competing a layout while you're working a full kind of thing.
yeah, that's kind of what I did. I think I just had a mental block, so I think people were sick and tired of
I
me.
don't remember that.
When you came to the
No.
gym, I didn't have it anymore.
Oh, like when I was
When you
when I was away.
Yeah, when you were on Top Gun and you came to like for the 2010, like
Oh, yeah. I don't remember that at all.
no, you wouldn't. But yeah, when you came,
Oh,
when I got to Twinkles, I think
yeah,
over the
you did the hard pass.
when Anaya left, I got put in for that two to whip, two to full.
Yeah. My God, what a blast in the past that name was. That was wild.
That was
I
crazy.
mean, listen, they couldn't have planned like better TV. Like that was a gold mine.
No.
This and all the parents, like you could not have like made that again if you tried. It's like Jersey Shore. Like you could never get that cast of characters
No.
if you tried.
Well, and I remember they say this in documentaries, but they're like, the girls don't know. I'm like, everyone knows. Everyone knew what happened. Like, or at least I did. Like I
Well,
knew.
you were like 7th grade,
Yeah.
right?
So
Yeah,
I
I'm pretty sure we're not pulling a fast one on her. She's like learning. She's in middle school.
nothing goes by me. I know everything.
Nice.
And Andrea falling day one at NCA, that was scripted. So to the floor. That's what gets me to this day. Like it didn't like fall or like, fall down. Like it dropped to the
I
ground.
know. Listen, those were the good old days.
We actually just transferred right into the next question,
Look
which
at that.
is talk about your role in helping Twinkles in 2012. Why did you decide to come back to World Cup to come and coach Twinkles?
Oh, I mean, I was never not gonna come back to World Cup. First of all, I'm never not gonna live in New Jersey. I'm never gonna be more than 30 minutes from the Jersey Shore. Those were like the prime days. 18, 19. I was like loving it. Watching the videos, knowing the routines. Yeah, that's what my kids are like. Oh, they are like, I'm like, oh, I know music. This mix from 2012. They're like not even born yet. Like
Oh my god, that makes me so feel so old too.
it's wild.
Well, maybe we can just go through the season a little bit. I don't.
I remember more just being like sitting next to Chrissy and Dana and just like listening to them talk and coach. Like, I mean, they were, listen, that is still, I think that's my like blueprint. Like, I mean, they were like, we were wild back then and in our younger days. Like,
When did they tell you that we were doing a documentary? When did you find that out?
I don't know. I just remember them. Yeah, it must have been like in the summer because they were there for choreography.
Yeah, because Jamie Parrish.
It must have been like right before that because like there's nothing from like tryouts or anything.
No,
It
no.
must have been like mid-summer.
I just remember them like coming to choreography, and I wasn't filmed until later, like after NCA. They weren't gonna follow me or like have,
Oh,
and I don't know why they put me in it or like randomly decided after NCA,
yeah, that's so weird. They
But
did the whole season. I thought they were done after NCA.
they were. Or no, because they still had footage. Like they had this is so weird that they had me do this. They had me go to my like middle school with the trophy and my jacket. So like my trophy to show my teachers. And then there's literally a video of me like putting it in my
Giant trophy.
I don't know. Anyways, yeah, they so all that was recorded of like my mom and me in my house was after we won NCA.
Um,
Yeah, because I remember the main people that they chose, like at the beginning of the year, was Andrea, Gianna, Tatiana, Bridget, and Bella. Oh, and Julia. So those were like the six
yes.
that were like followed at the beginning of the year, and then threw me in there. But I remember when Chrissy was yelling at me for the competition when I like fell. Um, she came up to me and doing her Chrissy thing. One of the I don't know which parent it is, so I can't say it, but like went to the guy who's videotaping and was like, "You can't videotape her while crying. That's like not nice."
He's like, yeah, I can't. I'm a journalist. He's
Yeah,
like, this is Asbury Park Press, baby.
this is like my job. Like I have to videotape it, so it makes for
Oh my God.
a good documentary.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of any challenges that we went through that year other than the dreaded TikTok.
Julia's mental block in the beginning, I remember. But like, did she end up tumbling by the end?
Yeah, she was actually in the two to whip.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I remember being on Twinkles and remembering the TikTok for I don't like maybe it was just me, but when I watched the whole documentary the first time, I was like, I didn't think it was that big of a deal, the TikTok.
Right.
And they made it the whole like
The whole show.
yeah, I just thought it was so funny looking back.
Well, I guess it was the only stunt skill we did. Oh, we did a switch out. But
Yeah.
like that was like back in the day when you could do one stunt skill and a double down.
So, since you're a coach at World Cup and you've seen a lot of kids grow up to become shooting stars, what do you think are the most important things young athletes should focus on if they're looking to make a team like shooting stars?
I mean, well, obviously the normal stereotypical ones, all well-rounded athlete, be coachable, which is like, just be able to take a correction and not, take it to heart. But I mean, most importantly, like the kids that I see that like go to shooting stars and make it through without, jumping ship or quitting cheerleading and doing high school or doing track, soccer. It's like you have to still like love the sport. Like all the kids on shooting stars, like the ones that I've had, they still like, even as they get older, they still like love watching teams. They still like, know all the routines. They are friends on all the teams. Like it's still like a big part of their life. Once you start to like, I feel like once you start to diverge into the like school friends and school functions and the parties, like that's when you're straight from the path.
It's very true. Like girls who like are very passionate for the sport that go to random open houses, what? Open and like just coming to stunt whenever and are like I feel like you said, like that's most of the girls that I see on stars that made it all the way to
Right.
see they like Mika would be in the gym all the time. Kira always in the gym. Yeah,
Right.
love tumbling all the time. Like I would text her and be like, want to go and tumble. So just,
Right.
like yeah, having that passion for the sport, I feel like that goes for all sports. That's how you get better.
Yeah, I feel like I usually the junior level is like that's when you like figure it out. Well, you're gonna keep going and push, or you gonna tap out.
I didn't even think about that when people kind of stopped.
It's like freshman year.
Yeah.
That like is the if they're on the fence like 8th grade, they usually like will push for one more year and then either go or stick it out, or they go to high school and then sophomore year they're like, no, I want to do high school things.
I saw a lot of people leave if they didn't make stars or like.
Yeah. I have a kid. She flies on Omni and she is learning to side base on Starlights. I'm like, yeah, come on down. I'll teach you how to base. I can teach anyone how to base. You got a pulse? You can lock your arms? I can teach you.
I can teach you.
Yeah, that's been my role. Do you want to be a shooting star or do you want to be a flyer? If you want to be a shooting star, come on my team and I'll teach you how to base.
Yeah, I think that answers kind of our question too, because Anne Napolitano did that. They kind of sat her down. They're like, "Do you want to fly or do you want to be on stars?" And like one way that is to become a great base.
She flew on Suns that year, right?
And she was on Omni too. She based on Omni for.
I thought she like flew on like a Suns or something.
She did. Yeah, she was on Suns. Ooh, I'm coming up with this 2014 or something like that.
Yeah.
I'll tag my other video. In our other video with Anne, she talks about the transition from flying to basing, and that's how she, paved her way to make shooting stars and stuff like that.
Better to learn something else. Like you gotta be able to roll with the punches.
Favorite memory from your time as a coach? Do you have any stories?
I like the relationships that I like still have with kids. That's like my favorite part. Like the kids I still talk to, like it's like so cool. Like I'm nearing the end of like the Kennedy, Sienna. That's like the last like pretty much of the old school kids that I coached. The kids that I coached when I was still in my 20s, like still a spring chicken. Like that they like watch me grow up too.
Yeah, that's kind of like when I'm looking at the gym and like stars in general. Like Kennedy, she was on Twinkles when I was on Stars, so it's kind of like the last kind of generation that I know at the gym. So it's interesting to see everyone grown up and doing their own thing. What is your favorite Stars routine of all time, and then your favorite cheerleading routine of all time?
I don't know what year it was. It was the 2 to double, but it was the Jose and Greg routine with the music. Oh God, was it 2012 or was it 20?
That was the Golden Memories. I'm thinking of Kelsey. Is it 2011? Looking this up now.
Must be 2011 that I'm thinking of, because it was when I was on Top Gun, but the first routine when they stunted to the when I see your face
shootings,
and then that was never seen the light of day after. What was that, Jam Fest? Yeah, that like when it was a little rough, and then they like completely redid it, but it was so good. Like Victor choreographed the whole stunt. It was like they had like an intro. They did this like hold the hands, round off tuck. Oh my God, it was so cool.
I'm making sure this is it because I know what you're talking about.
But this was that's the new stunt.
Oh,
that's the I will survive. When they did the high to high TikToks for the first time. Yeah, they did like stretch to scale, like a full dance in the. I mean, maybe that's why they didn't hit. It was like a full like motion sequence in the middle of the TikToks. Brilliant. I
remember them all following that competition and being like, "Oh no!"
Yeah, that was the first time I saw them like at Jam, because that's when I was in Miami still, and I was like jumping up and down. And I was like.
That was kind of like what happened in 2013. Do you remember that like the beginning of the season? They were like not hitting anything.
Pretty much every year, it's a rough start.
Yeah, I think so too. Like I never like even up to NCA. Like NCA, we are terrible. Like I just remember like things not clicking. Everyone was just.
What was your first year? 15, 14?
13. Well, yeah, because what happened was Taylor McKenna. That whole situation happened, and then they brought me up. They brought me and Gigi up. Yeah, but we got pulled up. I want to say my first competition ever with stars was at Cheer Sport. And I crossed on lights and stars up until NCA.
Was that the good year of Starlights that they won everything?
No,
with Justin Gonzalez and Juliana Colazzo? No.
We were, I know, no, it was not the.
Don't be throwing no shade. I just want to get paid.
No. It was, if you want it your way, go to Burger King. That was.
Who was that? Ty and Denise?
No, Dana and Sean.
Oh, Dana and Sean. Okay.
Yeah, no, we were not good. It was, okay, like we weren't terrible. It just like wasn't a Starlight routine. You know, like what you just said. You're like, oh, was it that year? It's like no one remembers.
I
No,
don't know what it was.
exactly.
Do you remember the Burger King though? I don't remember in any other context, but I remember the Burger King.
It was when Maddie DeLuca was on the team. Lulu came on, like that whole
Yeah.
Mace.
Oh, the South Jersey.
Yep, they all came, so they were all on Starlights. And yeah, when I was on Stars, and do you remember NCAA Day 2 for Stars 2013 when
No.
Kelsey fell like true to whip double? Like,
that was the really bad one too, where she just like onto her face. Right?
Yeah, that was pretty bad. And then we changed everything. Like
okay. That now I remember because I remember the. Okay.
We changed everything for that routine. So that was my first year, and it was. I kind of forget it.
Well, I don't even remember what that first routine was.
Only have one life to live. Now is what you make of it. Don't talk about it. Be about it. Love on Top was a dance.
Oh yes.
And it was just the beginning. I wasn't on the team, but I remember like hearing from the outside and like what my mom was talking about. Like there was a lot of things happening on that team.
Sounds New Jersey.
Yeah. Anyways, and then I was on Stars until 2017. Yeah, but 2011, what was it? They didn't have a theme that year. But
no, that was like when Jose and Greg came and they're like, no theme. Those you can't stop looking at me.
Oh yeah. And then Who Owns the Throne? That one.
Yeah.
I did like that dance a lot. It was very sassy for Stars.
Yeah, and then they got the Whitney Houston dance because that was the year she died, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they got it for Worlds, and they did it the one day, and then they were like, "Yeah, no."
That was like Donatella, whatever, that Lady Gaga. Remember that dance?
That was such a good dance too. Oh,
2016 so sloppy. I like look at the routine now. I'm like,
what was that one?
The Gaga.
Oh, Lady Gaga. That song is my favorite Lady Gaga song.
Which one?
Oh boy, you left me speechless. So good.
Yeah, that stunt sequence just didn't like. Okay, it had all the elements, but it just didn't look good. We all were dipping on different times. People were doing different things with their arms, like while spinning. Because we won in 2015, the year before that, and we looked great, like clean at least. Like when we were all doing everything, like it wasn't perfect.
At the same time.
Yeah, exactly. And then I look at 2016, I'm like, we had like a lot of talent on that team. So like, what happened with like?
Every team is a little strange.
Like
the like whip doubles that went for like 5-8 counts across the front of the floor. I'm like, we're still doing whip doubles.
Yeah, it was very odd. I love the pyramid though.
Yeah, that was love the pyramid. That was good. The sign. It's hanging in one of the gyms.
Really?
Yeah, it's the Gaga side. It's like one of the gym's backdrops. Like Ohio, maybe.
Oh, okay.
Or Connecticut. I don't know.
2016 legacy lives on in Connecticut.
Like World Cup shooting stars are Gaga.
Yeah, we had the Donatella dance for that, and it didn't look
good.
I wish we kept it because it was like very well. Like I liked it, and I liked it, but we just didn't execute anything that year, which is sad. Because if we did, I feel like we would have done a little bit better.
F5?
That was the year of the wet mat.
Oh, the wet floor. Yeah.
That was crazy. I remember just stepping on the floor. I was like, well, here we go. Yeah,
I left. I was like, I'm leaving.
Yeah.
I was like, we're not waiting. I'm out.
And then they wanted us to move it to the next day, too, to the milk house. Yeah, but even if they were to redo it that night, like, the floor would still be wet.
It doesn't solve the problem. The baseball stadium, it was a good idea, like in theory.
Well, now they have that whole new arena, which looks incredible.
I haven't been in it since the only time I've been in it, it's been 4. So when they do Worlds, like it's only one floor. So there's like the warm-up room and then the stage. When they do like UCA and Summit, it's like split like this. So there's 4 arenas in that. That's how they got rid of all those tents.
What is your favorite all-star routine of all time?
Probably Top Gun 08. The 1.5 to split. I can't be. I have no friends.
Yeah.
And I'm a show. Yeah. High School Musical dance.
Oh yeah, I actually just watched that last night. Why was I watching that?
Also, the next time you watch that pyramid is 4 8 counts long. And it is the sickest 4 8 counts you'll ever see in your life.
Okay, I'll watch it.
Literally 4 8 count pyramid. Why?
It's now.
Like 10, 9, 10.
I was watching Top Gun for this year, and that pyramid is long.
Right? I'm like, I mean, I guess I see these kids that I'm like, they look like grown men though. I'm like, they are like some corn-fed Midwestern boys. Like, I'm like, we don't have kids that look like that here.
Well, that's all the questions I have for you. Thank you so much for coming on.
Oh, no problem.
All right, now we stop the recording. All right, so that's all I got for you today. I had so much fun catching up with Kevin. I haven't talked to him in years, so thank you so much, Kevin, for coming on and, reminiscing with me about the good old days. I don't know what I'm going to do for next week's video. I have something in mind. I don't know if it will happen, so I don't want to get your hopes up for what's going on in my head, but if you guys have any more suggestions for guests, just comment them down below, or any ideas. I love all your suggestions. Please go and subscribe to Kevin's social media platforms. They will be linked down below. And also subscribe to my platforms, which will be linked down below. And then subscribe to this video. Oh, like and subscribe. And I will see you guys next week. Bye. Mwah, mwah.